All right, we did the post. How about we do the get? The get will be easy, right? Let's do the get. You get. Let's get that thing, right? And what do? To do a get, essentially, what we are getting from the server is all right. So I'm gonna do it fancier this time, right? So I'm gonna use the like that ID. I think it's called like that. Is it colon ID? I think so. The URL ID will be like that, right? Will be part of the URL. So like if you do like HTTPS localhost 8081, and then you do like blah 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 this URL, this will be the URL ID. Get it? Okay, get it? I don't think you get it, guys. I gotta spell out everything with you guys. Sheesh. All right. So const URL ID will be equal request, but I think it's called params dot URL ID, right? The moment you do it this way, I think I might be wrong. So we'll check it out. Okay. So URL ID. All right. So we get the URL ID, which is this thing, right? Right. So what do? We need to query, right? First, to do the query, we need to find which database to hit. And to do that, we don't need to hash because we have the hash, right? Arby's, we have the meat. All right, so we do that. Get the URL, get the server, and once you get the server, now we know which server, we know which client, so we essentially do this, right? Easy peasy, Japanese, right? So we don't need this, all right? We just need to query, right? And select star, again, never do this, right? Never, ever, ever do this. URL table, is that what it's called? Is it URL table or table URL? All right, so select star from URL table where URL ID is equal to 1. Thank God. What's his name, this guy who built this library? I think his name is Brian. Brilliant guy, man. Follow him on Twitter, right? Brilliant guy. Okay, so what do we do? The URL ID. I want to give you that. So you don't have to do that nasty single quotes and blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do that because you'll be SQL injected. And by the way, we talked about SQL injection because I talk about everything I want to learn in this channel because my goal is to become a better software engineer every day. So anything that I don't know, essentially I make a video about it. I learn it and I make a video about it. So SQL injection, go check it out. Okay, we have that stuff. What about we actually check this stuff out? Okay, so this gives me results, and I think I awaited that thing. The results have a row, so result.rows, I think it's called rows count. Is it greater than 0? Then we just send back the result, I guess. And then if there is no results, what's the status code for something that is not found, guide? 404? Send the status. Okay, let's send status 404. There's 404, right? Because it's not found, right? If it's found, then I'm going to return this thing, right? And what do? URL ID. What else? All right, so URL ID. Let's just do the same exact thing so we don't mess up, right? Stay consistent. Consistent hashing, babes. All right, so the URL ID is the same one. I don't really care. I want this guy. And it tells me which server I went to pick that thing up. All right, looks like it's working. All right, let's debug. Do it. Only valid in async function. Yes, sir, because I forgot to add async here. Thank you. All right. Okay, let's do this. Get. Well, get is easy. Just do this. And now I need something that actually exists, right? This is not found. It's funny. It actually tells you not found, right? Because now it's going to return for me at 404 here because this DASA doesn't exist. DASA doesn't exist. 404 not found. Okay. So how about we find something that is actually there? Okay. So if I go to any server, right, just pick up any server. What's this? Shard 3? Yeah, the server. If you do this, right, we can. It's not working. Or okay. Okay. Might have some bugs, guys. Let's go on. Let's go check what's going on. Hit it. Did I get this right? Yes, I get it. NHCM7, all right? And if I do that, I'm gonna get it says in server 5432, and if I query, right, and I get rows count 0. Ooh, row count. There's no rows count, it's row count, right? Plus, even though I didn't get any rows back, all right? So let's see what are we doing wrong here, guys? All right, guys, I had to pause the video. We found a big, huge bug on one of the implementation of the old library, the consistent hash library. For some reason, when I practiced this video, I didn't hit it, but I hit it during this video while recording this video. And apparently, that hash ring thing, that consistent hash, was not giving me the same value. So it was stupid and useless, right? It's just buggy implementation. So I found another library called hashring, which is a correct implementation finally. It's exactly the same, right? So you're going to add the same thing, hr, add this. But now, when I do a get, right, with a key, it's the same thing exactly, right? It gives me the same value every time because that's what I want. I don't want it to give me random values. That defeats the purpose of a consistent hash ring. I don't know what that implementation was about, right? So I checked out and it's like, it wasn't updated for 4 years, so it was a bad idea from us, so I apologize. So the rest of the video will use this hash ring instead of the consistent dash hash, right? Apologize for that, but it's the same implementation, right? It's the same idea. Nothing changed. The latest code will use the hash ring. So now, if I actually, I went and then truncated all the rows on all my shard and repopulated it with a brand new set of IDs, right? So now, I go back to get right here. And if I do, like, let's say I went back here and it's like, okay, shard, what? I'm in shard 3 and I want E4 RJX. So this is what? Shard 3, right? Shard 3, and I did, okay, go ahead and show me that for that ID. I get back shard 3, right? So let's go ahead to actually shard one of the rows in shard 1, okay? And let's check that out. Do we get the values here? So yeah, there's a bunch of values here. Let's pick one of them. And then MC875, if I do that, right? Let's just refresh that thing, right? And if I do, give me that, I'm gonna hit shard 1, 5432. That's exactly what we want, right? Powerful stuff, right? So once we get that, I know which server to go, right? So let's go ahead and complete the query and add all that jazz, right? So let's go ahead. So we get the result back from the query, right? If the result, the row count, I think it's called, greater than 0, then I want to send back, obviously, this result, right, guys? And I want to actually just send the rows back, right? Just go ahead and send it. We can just do, yeah, because we're going to get one row back, right? This implementation, by the way, guys, could have duplicates, right? I didn't account for duplicate, but it's easy to fix, right? I'm not going to fix it here, obviously. This is a sharding video, not a whole URL shortener design course, right? So URL short, so give me the idea. I'm going to get the URL. How do I get the URLs? I can do this. Rows, sub-0, and let's just do row sub-0. I don't know the actual values there. So, and that's server, right? And then if you couldn't find it, we said we're gonna do response.send status 404. Okay, that is coolish. Let's do it. And let's just remove that breakpoint so it doesn't get annoying. Oh, look at that. We got it. It's row ID 40 and it's from server this and all that jazz, right? So how about we pick another one? Another one, DJ Khaled. That's the same server, right? How about we pick up another server? And that's when I truncated those tables. Let's go shard 2. How about that? Let's pick something from shard 2. So we prove that actually this shit is working, right? Look at that, shard 2, 5433, and we picked that result. So I spread out my databases and now my rows on my tables, and now I'm always getting that stuff back. Powerful stuff, right? So we know how to write, we know how to read, and that's essentially the basics of sharding, right? And what if I do something that doesn't exist? I get not found, right? And if I do that, right, just not found, right? So a very basic implementation of a URL shortener with sharding giving to you guys, right? Hope you enjoy it. It's the code will be in the description below. So it's not that bad, right? It's like for sharding, that's a pretty cool if you think about it, right? Now, guys, adding shards is not something easy. You cannot just add a new shard because you have to really be careful what you're doing, right? You have to be careful with the algorithm, right? So the one I did is like it's fixed with the number of shard, right? So the moment I add a new shard, it's gonna redistribute and everything is gonna go to F, right? So you really need to know what you're doing with this. Sharding and resharding is a different topic. It's one of the disadvantages actually of sharding. So right. So that's it. Let's just jump back into the slides and talk about pros and cons of sharding.